Hello, my name is Nathan. I'm part of the disciple making team here in California, and just want to share a quick story about what happened just a little over 2 weeks ago, where I was going outside in the evening, and before going outside, it was a habit I like to ask God, like, hey, where do you want me to go? Or guard my steps. And so I went outside and I saw one of my neighbors, which was an elderly lady, sitting there with her dog. And I asked her, like, hey, what's your dog's name and is it friendly? And so the dog came up to me and she's like, yeah, it's really friendly. And so I'm petting it, it's really enjoying it. And it turns out the dog is not very friendly because unexpectedly it starts growling and it bites my nose. And it's not super bad, it's starting bleeding, and she's actually a nurse, and she asked, like, hey, like, are your parents home? I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, well, we'll take you to the emergency room, because it was kind of late. And so I'm quickly, as I'm going in, texting people, being like, hey, a really weird opportunity to have meaningful and casual conversations with my neighbor, but pray that whatever God wants to happen will happen. And so God answered that prayer. I got to have meaningful conversations and the ride together to the hospital. And then about an hour wait long in the hospital room itself, or the emergency room, and then another ride back. And fortunately, it wasn't that bad of a bite, actually, so God's mercy in that. But we got to talk about a lot of things, about how the last year went, about different things with her family. She brought up that one of her grandkids actually really likes Indian food, which is something that I know how to make. So I'm really praying for, appreciate prayers for this family, and that I'll have another opportunity to maybe make Indian food with their granddaughters, or anything else that comes up. And since then, we've actually had a lot more conversations, because she texted me every once in a while, like, hey, how's your nose? The first days leading up to that. And just really grateful how God used the prayer that I had in wanting to meet this lady and her family, and answered it in a very unexpected way. So I encourage you to keep praying to meet people and maybe be surprised on how he answers that prayer.